All right, welcome back to another episode with myself, Luke. So I hope you had a fantastic week. So yes, Bitcoin right now has had an epic start to the month. We're up almost 8%. October was pretty standard for October, not like massive things like we've seen in the past, but usually when October is green, especially during the 4-year cycle, then November and December is usually pretty epic. So hopefully we're going to have a 6-month consecutive green candles like we had back in 2020 going into 2021. Let's wait and see. I mean, Bitcoin right now this week, because of obviously everything going off with the elections, Mr. Trump winning, and people, obviously this was a buy, I'm not going to say buy the rumor, sell the news, but it was a big news event. People FOMO'd in, and we've had this what we call I'm going to call it a God candle. I mean, yesterday we were up $6,000. I think it was yesterday. Let me just check. That was it yesterday, or it was the day before. I mean, this candle was absolutely epic, and usually God candles are like $10,000 a piece. I mean, this was almost 7K. So I'm going to call this a God candle. And usually we have these during the parabolic moves of the 4-year cycle, where we see these huge God candles, these huge candles towards the upside. And they can also work the same way. We can have God candles dumping as well when we enter a bear market. So stay tuned for the trades. I'm going to show you where you could jump into a trade. Now, everything I say is not financial advice, but what I will say is it's not too late to jump in if you want to get involved with crypto. If you want to jump into a trade, that's a bit different. If you want to invest, I'm not going to say it's too late, but we are on the cusp of being late, especially if the cycles repeat like before. Then we've probably only got 3 to 6 months left of this parabolic, or this bull phase. So I'm going to show you the dominance in a moment. If you want to jump into altcoins, it's still not too late with the altcoins. But if you leave it and you don't get involved, then you are going to be too late. You're going to see mainstream media talk about it, your grandma, whatever. Then you're going to FOMO into it when it's at the peak. And it's something I've been talking about for weeks now. We'll look at the Bitcoin dominance in just a second, what I mean there. But right now, if you're trading, then yeah, I mean, we're still on course for this bull flag, which is at 83,000 US dollars. So we're not far off from my target from this bull flag. I mean, it's playing out really, really well at this moment. I'm up on a very, very small trade, 5x leverage, around 45% there. So yeah, I'm on a nice, I mean, it was a bit of a risk what I did. I put a 5x leverage just before the announcement of who the US winner was for the elections. And I just had this feeling, got to put it in with a very tight stop loss. I did get stomped out at the first entry. I jumped straight back in again, and then I woke up the next day and we pumped up 6,000-7,000. So right now, currently, I'm up about 45 to 50% on that trade. So like I said, November has started pretty well. Hopefully we can have a November like we had in 2020. Even back here in 2017, where we had a 50 or 40% in the last cycle. It would be absolutely incredible for Bitcoin to do a 40% rise. That would take us, if we have a start from November 4th, if we have a 40% rise, this has taken us all the way up to 95,000 US dollars. I believe we are on the course right now for $100,000 Bitcoin before the end of this year. Been saying it for a few months now, and all we need is a few more of these God candles and we are at 6 figures. So I've had family and friends text me saying they can't believe it. They've seen it on the news already, how Bitcoin has gone up to 75, 76K, telling me to sell now. They think you're a genius because yeah, it's at 76K. Most of the time, I think you're crazy in crypto, but it is what it is. That's crypto. If you've been in the space, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So the target right now is all the way here. This is the conservative price, of course, of 83,000. If you want to measure this bull flag at the top of the flag, then we're looking at 95, 96K, which is quite interesting with that 40% increase back here in 2020. So if we do go up 40%, like we did, if we have a carbon copy of the last cycle, then we're at that $96,000. So I'm just going to put it out there. I think we're going to touch 100,000 before the end of this year. So we've got about 6-7 weeks left, and I can easily see $100,000 Bitcoin. So if you're trading this, maybe don't jump into a trade just yet. We're going into the weekend. It could be boring. We could have a pullback. Again, not financial advice. Do what you got to do. Do your own research. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt and do your own research. Having said that, if you're going to look into getting into a trade, then maybe whatever indicators you like. Right now, I haven't really looked at any indicators at the moment. We're probably overly extended on the Bollinger Bands. But yeah, I mean, maybe you want to wait for a pullback down to the $72,600 level, which would be a nice, this is on the daily, of course, a nice support here. And then we've got another one down here at $69,000. So don't FOMO into anything. If anything, just keep dollar cost averaging, especially into altcoins. We're going to jump into that in just a second. But wait for those pullbacks. We could have a pullback over the course of the weekend. Nothing goes up in a straight line. But during a parabolic phase, then yes, we do usually go up quite quickly. So just be patient. Wait for that pullback. If something major happens where we have an explosion to the upside, then you do as you wish. You can go long. I mean, you can even go short with a trade. You've got my Bitflex and Bybit account in the description below. So if we do continue to rise up and we don't pull back, pullbacks are healthy, by the way, but if we don't, we come up to our $83,000 target. Then if we do blast off through that, then you could start looking at a long position after 82, 83,000. But I believe we'll probably have a little pullback before we shoot up to our target of 80 to 83,000. Hopefully we can have it over the weekend, so we have like a boring weekend. We just pull back slightly, get a nice healthy bounce, and then you can jump into a position lower down here. So just looking at the 4 hour, it's looking quite strong. I mean, you can't see anything special at the moment, but we're looking quite strong, going up, different steps up towards our price target. So just be patient. Don't FOMO into anything if you're going to take anything from this episode. So right now, because Bitcoin's been pumping, the rest of the space has been doing pretty well. Again, I'm highly involved with AI and with gaming, and some of these coins have been pumping like crazy. I mean, Beam is up only 10% for the month. It's up 24%, so it's not too bad for me with Beam. I'm just trying to look at other things that Solana's up 42%. What else? I mean, Gala's up 7% for the month. For the year, of course, if you just zoom out, Beam is up 300% for me because I bought Beam over a year ago. So it's not too shabby, it's not too bad. But of course, you've got a lot of these meme coins that are up a crazy amount of gain. So this is just the beginning, by the way. If we go to the Bitcoin dominance, we have just literally, looks like we've peaked out at 60.5%, and we're having this rollover right now. So it's going to be interesting. Was this the peak? Are we going to have that epic dump to the downside in the dominance and come hurtling down back into the 40%? If that happens, I mean, this is nothing just from this small dump here with the Bitcoin dominance. If this falls all the way back down 10-15%, then we're looking at crazy gains with the altcoin. So I believe we're going to have an absolute epic altcoin season. This could be the peak. If we go to the weekly, we can clearly see right now we have this. It's a parabolic rise, in fact, with the Bitcoin dominance, and it looks like we have hit that peak of 60%. I didn't think we'll go over 60%. We've slightly gone over it, but I think we're going to have an absolute epic dump. And the altcoins are going to, if this dumps all the way back down to that 40%, that's a 40% gain right there. So when that happens, that's why I'm saying it's not too late with the altcoins. You can still jump into altcoins while the Bitcoin dominance is pretty sky high all the way up here. But as soon as that comes down to that 35-40% range, then it's too late and you've missed out. But right now, you can get your positions, you can jump in and enjoy the rest of this parabolic phase, this cycle, if it repeats, of course. So that's pretty much it for today. So a lot has happened this week, a lot of excitement in the market. If you've got crypto, let me know which altcoins are doing well for you in the comments section below, and maybe I'll give a shout out next week in next week's episode. So again, thanks guys and girls for sticking to the end. Have a great weekend, a long weekend here in France and Europe, and enjoy it, and see you next week. Bye bye.